How's it going? Tiffany here. I'm coming at you live for episode 6 of Tiffany Talks Keto. We are going to talk about keto and type 2 diabetes tonight. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching it. Please feel free to share. Click that subscribe button for me. If you find this information really helpful, please let your friends know, share it, like, comment, tag some of your friends in there. If you're watching this on replay, thank you so much for watching it. If you're watching it live, thanks for joining me live. I love all of my Instagram followers, so thank you guys for always jumping on here with me. So tonight we're going to talk about keto and type 2 diabetes. So this is a very personal subject for me because my husband is a type 2 diabetic. And I'll share more of that story towards the end of this live tonight. But I want to talk to you about what type 2 diabetes is, first of all, and then how the ketogenic lifestyle can help not only control type 2 diabetes, but in some cases reverse it and completely relieve it of your system. So a lot of my research from tonight, a lot of the information that I'm going to give you tonight about type 2 diabetes and how the ketogenic diet can help with type 2 diabetes comes from the Mayo Clinic. So you know it's good stuff if it's coming from the Mayo Clinic, right? So what is type 2 diabetes? So when you have type 2 diabetes, your body either resists the effects of insulin or it doesn't produce enough insulin to maintain a normal glucose level, another normal blood glucose level. So insulin is created in the pancreas, and it helps to transport glucose from the bloodstreams into your cells. So when glucose goes into the bloodstream, your body starts producing insulin so that the glucose can be transferred out of the bloodstream and either into your cells or go and be stored in the liver as glycogen. So when you have type 2 diabetes, a lot of times the signs and symptoms develop very slowly, and a lot of people can have type 2 diabetes for years and years and years and never even know it. That's probably the case with what happened with my husband. He probably had it for several years but didn't realize it until he was finally diagnosed with it about a year ago. So with type 2 diabetes, sugar builds up in your bloodstream because hold on, sorry. I'm trying to read through my notes while I'm talking to you guys at the same time. So with type 2 diabetes, sugar in your bloodstream builds up. There's what I was looking for. Because eventually the body can't produce enough insulin to keep up with it, and that's called insulin resistance. So sugar in your bloodstream is building up, and your body can't produce enough insulin to get that sugar out of your bloodstream. Hi, good, how are you? I'm sitting on my parents' back porch right now, and it's a beautiful evening, and people are walking their dogs and saying hi. If there's sugar built up in your bloodstream and your body can't produce enough insulin to get the glucose out of the bloodstream and into your cells, then that's when type 2 diabetes occurs and your blood sugar levels skyrocket, right? So how do you know if you have type 2 diabetes? What are some of the signs and symptoms? Increased thirst and urination. So the excess sugar buildup in your bloodstream causes fluid to be pulled from your tissues, which causes thirst because you're feeling like you're dehydrated, right? And so because you have that excessive thirst and you start drinking stuff, you also urinate a lot because you're taking in a lot of extra fluids. So increased hunger is a sign or symptom. Fatigue, blurred vision. So diabetes can really affect your vision. So if you are having blurred vision, you need to go check out with your eye doctor and make sure it's not a sign or symptom of diabetes. And then if you have slow healing, or if you have frequent infections, because diabetes can affect your immune system. So what are some of the risk factors of type 2 diabetes? So being overweight is a risk factor. So risk factors just mean what can make you more prone to develop type 2 diabetes. So some risk factors include being overweight. Having that overweight, that excess body weight can be a risk factor. Fat distribution. So most people are created and designed to store their fat in their abdomen. But if you store your fat other places, such as your hips or your legs, you're more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. Inactivity. So that goes kind of hand in hand with being overweight, the inactivity and the overweight. Race is a factor. So Hispanics, American Indians, Asian Americans, and African Americans are much more prone to have type 2 diabetes. Family history is a big risk factor. So if you have a family history of type 2 diabetes, you're much more likely to develop it. And age. So the older you are, the more likely you have the more chances you have of developing type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes, gestational diabetes, and PCOS are also really big ones. So now that we've kind of covered what type 2 diabetes is and some of the signs and symptoms and the risk factors, how can keto or the ketogenic lifestyle help with type 2 diabetes? So when you're eating or when you're living a ketogenic lifestyle, you're restricting your carb intake. And by restricting that carb intake, your body burns fat instead of glucose for fuel, right? So by burning fat instead of glucose for fuel, this allows a type 2 diabetic to maintain a low but healthy level of blood glucose, or a healthy blood glucose level, sorry. And the reduced amount of carbs in the diet helps to eliminate large spikes in your blood sugar, which reduces the need for insulin. So if you're insulin resistant, that means you have so much sugar in your bloodstream that your body can't produce enough insulin to get that sugar out of your bloodstream. Well, if you don't take carbs and your body is not converting those carbs into glucose, then you're not going to have that increased blood glucose level. So you're not going to need as much insulin to be produced in order to get that out of your bloodstream. Does that make sense? So the insulin resistance goes down because your body doesn't need that as much insulin anymore. So there are many studies out there. You can go and look at them. I have some links if you're interested that show that the ketogenic lifestyle can help reduce A1C levels and just your blood glucose levels in type 2 diabetics. Now this is strictly type 2 diabetics, not type 1. This is strictly type 2 that I'm talking about tonight. I'll cover type 1 at a later date. But I kind of want to share my story with you guys as far as type 2 diabetes is concerned, because like I said, my husband is a type 2 diabetic. About 4 years ago, we started eating the ketogenic way of eating. And we did this originally to try and drop some weight because we were both overweight. I just had my daughter. I was at the highest weight I'd ever been. My husband was at the highest weight he's ever been. And so we decided, like, we've got to figure this out. So he did some research and we found the ketogenic way of eating. So we started doing that. And we were on and off the ketogenic diet for about 3 years. We worked at a college and the cafeteria, like the food was part of our pay. So it was kind of hard to stay on a strict ketogenic diet when we didn't have control over what our food was. Because it was part of our pay. So when you get offered free food and you don't get a lot of pay, you just kind of have to take what you can get. So it was really hard for us to maintain a strict ketogenic diet while we were living on the college campus. So we were on and off keto for about 3 years. And then early last year, John, my husband, was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So we knew we had to figure out how to make the ketogenic lifestyle work, because type 2 diabetes is a very, very, very expensive disease to have. So we got back on the ketogenic diet. My husband found this product called Keto Max, and it's pure therapeutic ketones, and he did a lot of research on it and brought it to me and was like, hey, we need to try this. I think it could really help. And I was like, okay, if you think it'll help, then we'll go ahead and try it. So we tried it. And on day 3, we were convinced that it was something that was going to change our lives. So on top of eating ketogenically, we also started drinking pure therapeutic ketones. And that for probably about 9 months controlled his diabetes, controlled his blood glucose levels without medication. We both dropped a lot of weight. So we started drinking the ketones in September of last year, and from September to the end of December, I dropped 30 pounds and he dropped about 45 pounds. And now he's down closer to 60 or 70 pounds, and I'm down closer to like 35. I've been maintaining my weight, but he's been dropping weight steadily, which has been a really, really good thing for him. So, about 2 months ago, I started incorporating intermittent fasting also, as well as daily exercise. I'm not a huge fan of working out, and so one of my friends told me about a YouTube workout called Bikini Body Mommy. It's free. It's on YouTube. I love it. It's amazing. And so I started doing that, and I really enjoy it. And so on top of eating the ketogenic diet, drinking the pure therapeutic ketones, about a month and a half to 2 months ago, I added intermittent fasting and daily exercise to our routine. And that has just been, the combination of those 4 things has just been huge in changing our lifestyle. So now it's become a lifestyle for us instead of just a diet. It's not a fad right now anymore. And then it's also helping to control my husband's type 2 diabetes without medication. So if you guys have any questions about type 2 diabetes and the ketogenic lifestyle, feel free to shoot them at me. Shoot me a message, drop them in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. That's my story kind of in a nutshell, and why that's such a personal subject for me, because my husband does have type 2 diabetes. Three dit life, shoot me a message, and maybe we can talk about how you can get a little more committed to the lifestyle of it, because it wasn't easy. It's been a journey. It's had a lot of ups and downs for us, and so keto and IF are just amazing, especially in combination with each other. So if you guys have any questions or you want to talk more about it, I would love to chat with you guys. Shoot me a message, drop it in the comments. I can message you. This is just such a personal topic for me that I've done so many years and years and years of research on it. So I'd love to talk to you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Bye.